So yeah, apparently it's I don't know if the whole video or just part of the video is blocked in Canada for that copyright dispute with Permanent Claims has taken action on our video. Oh man, we just gave him credit. Does that unblock it?
Revving up your engine, listening to her howl and roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Hidden in the twilight, spreading out your wings tonight. She's got you jumping off the track, shoving it to overdrive. Highway to the danger zone. I'll take you right into the danger zone. You'll never say hello to you till you get it on a red line overload. You'll never know what you can do until you get it up as high as you can go.
What do we need? I think I look great. Let me back up.
Out along the edge is
I do look great.
learn to be. The further from the edge, the hotter the intensity.
Is the mic on? Mic's working?
Highway to the
But they can see me. They can't see me?
I'll take you right into
You get a brownie.
danger zone. I'll take you right into the danger zone. Right into
Right here?
the danger zone.
I'll turn that vibrating off.
Alright, so just let folks know.
We're gonna start in a couple of minutes. You guys can't. Can you hear? I feel like they can see you a little bit.
No, I mean nobody can see either of us right now.
Oh, okay, good. No one can see us. That's definitely 90% of my charm. We're gonna start the show in a couple of minutes. Get cozy, get some wine. Leave your morality at the door is what I hear for some of these sets tonight. So see you guys in a couple minutes.
Into the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Right into the danger zone.
You guys want to hear you say?
No,
Okay, comment it.
you got
piling onto the stage to start this open mic. How about now, Clayton? Can you see me now? Hear me and see me? Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody, for Stab Theater's social distancing open mic. The applause is not here. I know you guys are watching and applauding, so thanks for doing that. I do want to point out, though, somebody gave me some shit on the internet today. There isn't anyone here. None of these comedians are here. It's just me and one other person, and this is as close as I get to him. You can't even see him. I don't touch doorknobs. I touch a lot fewer audience members than I normally do during an open mic. So I can assure you there's no one here. They are all on the internet. I will read their names off of the internet. This will be an all internet open mic for you. So I promise we're being super safe. So stop giving me shit on the internet and just tune in to watch. Tonight we'll give you a list of comedians who I really love. If you have comedians you really love and you want to see them on this open mic, you should tell them to send me their videos and I'll get them on this open mic. I'd love to have them. So open mics, normally what we do is we get up and tell jokes, sometimes for the first time ever. That's how open mics go. We generally have a couple of rules at open mic. Everybody gets 5 minutes, so everybody tonight will be giving you 5 minutes. We also generally have a rule about not using the microphone as your penis. That rule has been lifted because I don't have to touch your microphones anymore. So I can't tell you whether or not any of these comedians are going to be using the microphones as their penises, but I know them personally. They're good people. They can do better. So I hope they do today. But because there's no audience here and there's no comedians waiting outside, and my dad is watching on the YouTubes, as people are calling it. Literally all of my friends are calling it. Do you guys all call it the YouTubes? But anyway, because there's no comedians here tonight, I feel like I should do a thing on stage that I never get to do, but that I am constantly being asked to do. I don't even think Jesse's even seen me do this on stage before. Pero es algo que hago con mucha frecuencia cuando estoy trabajando, es que hablo en español. Y mi papá siempre me dice que debo de hacerlo con más frecuencia. So the thing I don't do on stage is speak in Spanish. But my dad is always trying to get me to speak in Spanish because he thinks it's awesome. But it's not just because he thinks it's awesome, it's because he secondarily wants to make a point. I learned Spanish in college. I was in college for like 7 years. I've been working in Spanish-speaking churches for like over a decade. Oh my God, Skip Bacon, no way, you're so young. I know, right? And in all of that time, every time my dad sees me and sees someone else who might speak Spanish, he goes, hey, talk to him in Spanish, which is super embarrassing and I don't like to do. But the reason he wants me to do it is because he wants to point out to everyone that he also speaks Spanish, but he took 7 less years of college to learn how to do it. But that is only because my dad believes that you can speak Spanish by adding a vowel onto the end of literally any word, which we all know is not true. That is not how you speak Spanish. But if you know any Spanish right now, you may be thinking to yourself, it's not like the least true thing that anyone's ever said. Like, it's kind of a little bit true. And I know it to be more true than I wish it was, because every chance that my dad gets to prove that his valediction method is very comprehensive for learning Spanish, he sends me proof of it. So he goes into the bank. Does anyone know how to say bank in Spanish? Well, it's banco. Okay, technically it's banco. But according to my dad, in the deposit slip that he mailed me to prove his point upon highlighting the word banco and the word for deposit, which is also deposito, I know that his method at least works some of the time. He thinks it works all of the time, and he could have saved $100,000 on college and just used this method. But I literally get chip bags from all over the country that say, hey, look, I speak Spanish, and then it's just a word in English with a vowel on it that just happens to also be the Spanish version of that. The other reason that I actually don't like speaking Spanish on stage is because whether I'm doing it for work, or I'm giving a theological lecture, or I'm at a comedy open mic and I want to speak a little bit of Spanish on stage, after I get off the stage, something inevitably always happens. Guy comes up to me and says, hey, that's really sexy what you did up there on stage. And I naively, every time, say, oh, thank you. I take my comedy writing really seriously. I take my theological lectures very seriously. I think I'm a very talented writer. I appreciate the comment. I know that's not what they're saying, but a part of my brain just can't help it. Then they stop me and they say, no. I like how you talked in Spanish. That was real hot. But I don't blame the men for this, because all men have this superhuman ability to do this thing that I don't think women have the superhuman ability to do, but men have this ability to take anything and turn it into a fetish. Like, I wear glasses, right? I wear glasses because I have an astigmatism. But in the hands of a man and his superhuman abilities to turn anything into a fetish, I'm just like a librarian who's waiting to rip her glad. That's a fetish. How did you do that? That's a superhuman ability. Or like I, for instance, babysit to make a little bit of extra money. Am I just a babysitter who needs extra money? Or am I a naughty babysitter who's going to call you over as soon as the kiddos go to bed? Or I'm really bad at math. I didn't think anyone could turn the fact that I am bad at math into a fetish. As soon as I say I'm bad at math, a guy turns it into a fetish immediately by saying, oh yeah? And what would you do to get your grade a little higher? So like that's just a thing. So I don't speak Spanish on stage. So it's probably the only time I'll do it because there's no one here to turn it into a fetish after I leave. I don't want to look at the YouTube comments at all. I'm never going to do it again. Jesse, don't tell anyone you saw this. So that's tonight's superhuman ability is turning everything into a fetish. I'm only going to do it for a room of no one ever again. Otherwise, though, I have more comedians, and their superhuman abilities are being really funny. Like John Ross. So John Morris Ross IV, he's here all the time. We love him. He's very funny. He sent us in a set. Are you ready? You guys have to like clap at home or like put some clappy emojis in the comments because I'm used to getting a lot of flattery between like every set. Comedians are always like, bring up that host. She's amazing. So I'm not getting enough of that lately. So if you guys could send some of that in the comments, I'll bring up your next comedian, Mr. John Morris Ross IV.
One more time for your host, Skip.
Hold on. My fault. No, it was my fault. Sorry.
There's
Loose.
just so many comedians clamoring to get onto stage.
There it
It's
is.
crazy
We're
here.
ready. Here's John.
But we are going to give you some John Morris Ross IV.
Oh, hello. Hi. Hello. I've gotten 2 women pregnant my entire life that I know of. Oh, that's terrible. No, I've gotten 2 women pregnant my entire life. I have 4 children. And when you have 4 children, it makes it really hard for people to believe you when they say that you're pro-choice. You know, it's like, I am pro-choice. It's just that I live with my mistakes. Hi-yo. But the one thing I've noticed about having children is that before they're born, their mothers become very frisky in the bedroom, especially like a month or so before the baby is born. And I've always wondered why, and I figured it out. I figured out the reason that they're so horny before the baby's born is because now they're fucking for 2. So, I don't know about that joke either. Let's talk about apples. It's a new joke I wrote about apples. A couple thoughts on apples. I love apples. I love a nice, crisp, red or green apple. Not too juicy, just juicy enough. And it's the best. It's the best. But I feel like I've had more bad apples than I've had good apples in my life, which is quite an allegory for life, I think. That, you know, they say like one bad apple could ruin the whole bunch. That means there must be a bad apple in every bunch, which I think we found in life is that everywhere you go, there's some piece of shit that ruins it for everybody. It makes everyone more bitter. Anyway. Yeah, eating a bad apple, that's like eating wet suede. It's really bad. I think that's why the popularity of the apple has really, it's not a consistent good treat. It is the perfect gift for a teacher though. I think it's a good gift for a teacher, you know. It's like it might be good, it might be bad. It's like, hey teacher, if you want a consistently good gift, try working for more than 9 months out of the year. Oh, I just made the teachers mad. Well, you know, if you're mad, maybe you should have been a mailman or a garbage man. Consistent, working all the time. Now I feel bad. I feel bad for all the teachers out there. No, it's good. I live in Sacramento for summer. I mean, I live close to Sacramento, but I lived in Sacramento for years. And I moved back fairly recently just because I want to be where the entertainment industry is, you know. And the cool thing about Sacramento is though we almost have a basketball team, but we do have a AAA baseball team. The River Cats, the name of our AAA baseball team is the River Cats. And I'm not sure what that is. A river cat? I've never seen a river cat in Sacramento. I don't know. That's just a cat that's been dropped off. That's a homeless cat, right? That's what we're gonna name our AAA baseball team, the River Cat. A river cat. That's like what a redneck would call an otter. Hey there, look at that Sacramento River cat. Have you been to the Sacramento River? I don't see many wild cats. Anyway, if you're interested in any other farm league baseball teams, check out the Stockton Abandoned Puppies. They're good. They're good. I do love Sacramento. It's so great. It's so great. The other day I was at Starbucks. It's a coffee place. And this guy, it wasn't the other day. This was actually a few years ago. This guy came out of the Starbucks. And this was like right in the middle of me losing my Christian faith. Like I was like on the verge. I still had it a little bit, but then I was like about to give it up. So I was like, God, prove yourself to me, you know, all that stuff. And then like I was kind of in that mindset. And then I was at the Starbucks and this guy walks out. And he comes up to my table and he looks me in the eye and he goes, Jesus loves and cares about you, right? That's what he said. And I was like, shit, now I have to believe, right? Like that's confirmation. And then he just didn't have any more conversation. He just walked over to this other table where there were a bunch of girls and he's all, Jesus loves and cares about. And then I couldn't help but feel a little jealous, a little bit. Like, I thought he cared about me. I thought he loved and cared about me. But it turns out he's just fucking playing the field, I guess. Casting his seed wherever it'll grow. Anyway, I just got the light. That's my time, everyone. Check out my website, chipotle.com. Thank you.
John Morris Ross the fourth. Did he put down all public servants in that 1 5-minute set? Definitely teachers, because they're not getting enough shit right now. But yeah, otters are river cats, and I'm never going to unhear that. And I've heard him say, check out my website, Chipotle, a million times, and I think it's hilarious every time. If you'd like, you can check out John Ross on Twitter, Instagram, and you can Venmo him some money for his funnies. That's the thing that jokes do, make us money, at Stab Theater on Venmo. So that's John Morris Ross the fourth. Jesse's looking really hard at the computer. No, it's not Jessie Smith from Monrovia, Indiana. She's not here with me today. Sorry, Dad. But I did hear that Parker is still watching. Parker Ann, if you're watching this, well, I already know your dad and your grandpa are terrible, terrible people. But do your best. Maybe get some sleep for sure before the next comedian comes out. But Auntie Skip loves you, Parker. And Parker Ann is my niece's name, not the name of, but also the name of a local comedian named Parker Newman. I don't talk to Parker Newman like that. I mean, I could. I think it'd be adorable. He's an adorable human. He'll have a set for us next week, so you can tune in next week to see Parker. Parker Ann, you should probably not watch Parker Newman's set. That's up to your parents, I guess. No, Parker Ann, don't watch Parker Newman's set. He's a great guy, though. You'll love him. Are we ready for the next one? We are ready for the next one. We are ready for the next one. I'm super excited. Good night, Parker. If you're going to bed, you should definitely be in bed. But your next comedian, Mr. Joey C.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the 60s, on his last leg of his coronavirus tour, when the coronavirus was brought in by drinking too many Mexican beers, put your hands together for Joey C. Hi, my name is Joey C. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I almost fell down again. I don't think it's the coronavirus. I don't think it's my age. I am a little older today. I think it's these shoes. See, I bought these shoes in a little festival in upstate New York in 1969 called Woodstock. Bought them from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but every time I put them on, I'd be tripping. Now, the announcer said I come from the 60s, the drug, sex, rock and roll 60s. Something I did in those days causes my problems today. I think it was too much drugs, too much LSD. You know, the chemists called it lysergic acid dithylamide. We called it LSD because the initials of lysergic acid dithylamide, LAD, was just too weird. I mean, picture yourself in an Irish bar saying, hey, dude, you want to do a little lad tonight? Man, I got my ass kicked all the time saying that. So I'm glad they started calling it LSD. And I took maybe a little too much LSD. And my neurologist feels that's what causes my Parkinson's disease. And I tell you about my Parkinson's not because I want you to feel sorry for me, it's because I know you're watching my right hand shake. And, you know, when people have something in common like that, like Parkinson's, they form a group. And I do belong to a Parkinson's group, and yes, we do have a secret handshake. And that's what you're watching right now. But you're thinking, man, that dude's nervous as hell. He can't stop his hand from shaking. Or you're thinking, man, would it be awesome if he had a tambourine in that hand? But now you know those are Parkinson tremors. And now you're thinking, well, he's not nervous. It'd still be awesome to see a tambourine in that hand. But that is the best impersonation of Michael J. Fox I've ever seen. And you know, I did that joke in L.A. Michael was in the audience, sitting right up front. And when I hit the punchline, I looked down at Michael, because if he didn't like the joke, I would have taken it out of my set. And Michael's doing this. I'm thinking, shit, he hates the joke. So I looked at Michael up after the set was over and said, hey, Michael, you know, I'm sorry, dude. I'll take that joke out of my set. And he goes, what joke is that? And I go, the one about me impersonating Michael J. Fox. And he goes, man, I love that joke. I go, well, Michael, you're shaking your head. No. He goes, I've got Parkinson's, you idiot. But Michael and I, we've become great friends ever since. See, we're working on a movie together. We are actually collaborating on a movie together. It's about two young boys that work for their father's valet service. We're going to call it Parking Sons. You know, I was worried about Parkinson's because I did lose my job because of Parkinson's. I was a sign language teacher at a high school, and every time I signed, they thought I was stuttering. So they fired me. And I've never been able to win at the game operation again. But I did find a great job. It's a job that suits me. I'm a fluffer in the porn industry. And when the disease moves to my left side, like the doctor says it will, I'll get paid twice as much. So I'm cool with it. I mean, the worst thing about tremors, though, I mean, the exact worst thing is that when I'm around people like you that I don't even know, I shouldn't put my hand in my pocket. Because y'all, you're dirty people, y'all think I'm rubbing one out. And I could be, because I don't even have a pocket on this side anymore. I rubbed it out. I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Joey C. Peace, love, happiness. May the force be with you.
The force be with you. I've seen him end that set. That's Joey C., everybody. We don't need to call senior services. He is fine. I've seen him trip on stage a bunch of times. He's fine. What was I thinking about Joey C? Oh, I was thinking about this. I've got his information here. So if you want to follow Joey C, you can do that by Venmoing him, actually. Is that the only info we have about him, Venmo? Yeah, I don't know if he's on Instagram or social media. You guys know how social media works, but in case you don't know how Venmo works, his Venmo is Marguerite-Crespillo? God, so like one of the worst things I do is read last names. I don't know if anybody knows that about me, but one of my jobs used to be actually reading out all the names of the children doing First Communion. And I only started working in churches in Spanish, so I knew how to read all the Spanish names super well. But then you throw in like 3 white kids, and it's like I don't know any letters. Just like, I'll just say like a million names. Miguel Orozco, Angelita Gonzalez, lo que sea. And then I'm like, is it Ibegita? And they're like, Abigail? Oh my God, those letters aren't even in there. So it's really, really bad. I don't know, maybe it's trauma from reading last names, but I'm really, really bad. So I'm pretty sure there's links on the. I don't think I need to read these. I'm pretty sure there are links all over the place, right? Jesse's pretty good at this. There's like he went like this. That's totally fine. So your next comedian, I specifically requested for you this evening. This is Miss Tina San Lucas. She is hilarious. She is beautiful. One of the greatest things about her is she thinks I'm hilarious and beautiful. Those are my favorite kind of people. So I'm going to give you some Miss Tina San Lucas because I think she's hysterical. So give it up and get ready for Miss Tina San Lucas.
Punchline, what the fuck is going on? So at the end of the month, I'm celebrating my 13th wedding anniversary. And I was just in the green room, and this younger comic was like, Tina, you are so lucky. You're married, and you have a family, and you own a home. And I was all lucky. I'm all, this takes a lot of hard work. Do you know how many sorry-ass dicks I had to suck to get this far in life? Seriously. You know, I love when young girls complain about the dating scene and they're like, yeah, God, it's just so hard out there. I'm just having the hardest time. I'm single and, you know, I can't find somebody. And I'm like, you know what? I want to ask you, how many dicks have you sucked? And she's like, 6 or 7. I'm all, Becky, you got some work to do. So I'm also at the end of the month about to be 41. Thank you. Turned 40 last year, which means I'm officially a cougar. And you know, I never really believed the whole cougar thing. I didn't think it was real. I thought it was bullshit until it happened to me. I'll never forget it. I was in the Save Mart with my husband. I was in the produce department. And I just so happened to look over at a delicious-looking 20-something-year-old hipster. And I thought to myself, huh, I wonder if you'd like to suck that guy's dick. It surprised me too. I looked right at my husband and thought, I fucking hope to God that was my inside voice. He didn't seem startled, so I went right back to choosing the perfect cucumber for my family's dinner. And we got a big one. You know, I really enjoy being a middle-aged woman, and I have to say the best part about it is I get to be as nasty as I want in the bedroom. Do you remember when you were a young lady and you would let some dumbass guy hump you? And while he did, you'd be thinking some really stupid shit like, I really hope he likes me. Maybe we'll get married someday. Does my stomach look fat in this position? I wish he turned the lights down. Now? Oh, fuck no. I want the lights all the way up. I will hold up my mom gut. Will you eat my pussy? And I will give a fuck. It's called confidence. And when you're 40, you fucking get some. It's crazy. Your titties are sagging and your stomach doesn't look quite right, but you're like, you're fucking lucky you're in the room with me right now, fool. I've been doing all the shit that turns my husband on for years. Now, it's my turn. I told my husband, you better be fucking ready, because if you thought I was a freak in my 30s, now that I'm 40, it's about to get real. I will shit on your chest. And I can't fucking wait to see his face when I do it. Our wedding anniversary's coming up. I'm gonna jump on top of him for annual anniversary fuck, because that's the only time married people fuck. And in the heat of the moment, I'm gonna whip around. He's gonna think I'm going in reverse cowgirl. And then, surprise! Happy anniversary, baby! I'm a grown-ass woman now. Foreplay? Fuck that shit. Foreplay is had had time. I don't have that kind of time. When my husband wants to fuck, I'm fucking ready. Hurry the fuck up because I got shit to do. This woman knows exactly what I'm talking about. Cougars are busy. So now that you know a little bit about me, I feel like I can really open up. So I will say this. I have had anal. More than once. High on coke. Now, I feel the judgment a little bit. I'm an Aries. I'm adventurous. I like to try new things. It's also the only time I was ever fucking crazy enough to put anything in my asshole. You know, having anal is a lot like the first time you do coke. Hear me out. At first, it's really intimidating and scary, and you're not quite sure how it's gonna make you feel. But then once it's in your body doing its thing, you're like, fuck yeah, that feels good. I'm fucking for sure doing that again. That's my time. Thank you so much.
Is it muted again?
I thought I clicked
Hey,
it. I'm
can you guys-
sorry. That was my fault.
Can you guys hear me now? It's just a thing. We do it once a show to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah,
So
every
as soon
time.
as you start commenting,
You got it.
the first person to comment wins a White Claw when this is all over. That's too many White Claws. We do this like once a show.
That's right.
That was Tina San Lucas, everybody. She is one of my favorite. I know I told you she was beautiful. I know I told you she was funny. I definitely forgot to tell you how flexible she is. Did you see that drop down and she was in those heels? It's amazing. The first time we saw her do it was at the Comedy Spot, and we were right up front, right in front of the stage, and she just dropped down. And we were not ready. She was in a dress. Her hair went flying. I was immediately in love with that woman. She is amazing. So please check her out on her social media stuff that's on the screen. Probably was on the screen. It was on the screen, so you'll be able to check Tina out. I want to say a special thank you to her. She's always so positive and so wonderful to be around. We're so glad you're here. Also, some people sent me in a list of things that I figured we could read during this time about other things that females do regularly, professionally, or for hobbies that people turn into fetishes, and the list is weird, like moms, just says moms, maids, stepmoms, that's a huge fetish, police officers, sisters and teachers was one, college students, high school students, massage therapists, and at the very top of that list, maybe it's topical, doctors. Those are all things that women do on the regular that people immediately turn into fetishes. So thanks for that list. I don't know why everyone had that list so ready. I think part of it might have been Clayton, just had it ready to go. But thank you for supporting the fact that men can turn anything into a fetish, even just being a sister. Super gross. Hope Parker's already in bed. But this next guy I also specifically requested for my dad because his genre of jokes are right up this guy's alley. So I'm going to give it over to Mr. Robert Berry.
Hey everybody, this is Robert Berry, and I am doing some quarantine comedy. These are truly dark times for comedy. It's kind of like, can you imagine there's people that like might just now be discovering comedy for the first time and they're like, this is comedy? This is stand-up comedy? Holy shit. It's kind of like when you're reading a Little House on the Prairie book and you see like, Laura used to keep herself busy by hitting a can with a stick for a few hours, and saying that's video games now. I miss going out to the clubs. I complained about driving 3 hours for a show, and you'd get like a drink ticket and a piece of cold pizza. I'd fucking kill a man for a chance to do that now. It's like we're slowly just going crazy and documenting our insanity on cameras and sharing it with everybody. And the only people watching it is us when we make sure it posted correctly. We're all just shouting at ourselves through a video camera. I don't know what it is anymore. It's my office, by the way. I've been working out of this office for quite some time. So self-quarantining here's fine. I've been spending a lot of time at home. Now 3 weeks with my wife, spending a lot of time together. And yesterday I said, honey, we've been together so much and connecting so much. Maybe I don't need, when this is all over, to go out so much and go out to these bars and dive clubs and all that to do comedy. I can spend more time with you. And she said, don't be so hasty. Comedy's in your blood. Hey, here's something crazy for you. Look at this here. Orbit soda. This was a soda that was made about 25 years ago. And it's full of these gelatin globules, and there's a specific gravity to them, so they never sink. So it's kind of like a lava lamp soda, and they're edible, and it was just as disgusting as you think it would be. Yeah, I mean, it was basically yellow jizz inside of a soda. So maybe some of you would like that. I have lots of these. I've got orange and I've got yellow. On eBay a while ago, I bought a case of these. That's why you should not listen to me for investment advice. I'm not very good with social media. That's a young person's thing. They're using Zoom. They're using Snapchat. I don't know. I'm not good on Facebook. I know Facebook is probably the only thing I'm good at. They have you stay up at night and maybe like all of a sudden like somebody you knew from your past likes a bunch of your old photos and you're like, whoa, what does that mean? It's 2 a.m. Why is Betty Sue from 10th grade suddenly liking every photo? You get what I'm talking about. It's kind of creepy when somebody goes back and likes a bunch of your old photos. I've done that before. You reconnect with an old flame in high school. You're like, hey, look, they're looking great. And it's hard to tell, like, what's the most pictures you can go back and like on somebody's Facebook or Instagram that's not too creepy, but will let you know that you'll be there for them when their boyfriend dies. So it's good. It's hard to, it's a fine line for sure. Facebook challenges are a big deal. People are doing like the lick a toilet challenge. That's pretty gross. All those the ice bucket challenge. I remember last year there was a challenge very popular, and I'm not making this up. It's the throw cheese on a baby's face challenge. And some weirdo was sitting there one day with a piece of cheese, and he's like, yeah, I'll throw cheese on this baby's face. So he throws cheese on a baby's face, and the baby's like, yeah, get this cheese off my face. They probably can't talk like that, though. But so I thought I'd throw cheese on a baby's face to get with this. So I threw cheese on a baby's face, and the mother was furious. She said, why did you throw cheese on my baby's face? I can't believe you threw cheese on my baby's face. And I said, ma'am, look, if you didn't want me to throw cheese on your baby's face, maybe you should have had a closed casket funeral. Is that the light? All right. Hey, my name's Robert Berry. Hang in there. Things are going to get better, or they're not. Look forward to a life of comedy from people ranting in their houses. We're all going to die.
It's the best way ever. How's that microphone now? Mm-hmm. Best way ever to end a set. Things are going to get better, or they're not. Robert Berry, the special request, because my dad's 2 favorite kinds of jokes are dead baby jokes and Helen Keller jokes. It's not a secret. I don't feel good about telling everyone, but it's definitely not a secret. Another non-secret is that you can check out Robert Berry anywhere. You can check him out with his Venmo that I'm sure was on there and his Instagram that I'm sure was on there. He also he has a podcast that I love. It's an amazing podcast. Dad podcasts are like internet radio. I think you get them more or less. And he has one called Super Bible Party. You can find it on Spotify. You can also find it right next to Stabs Podcast, which is also on Spotify. You should check that out because this is one night of streaming comedy, but there are countless evenings of streaming comedy here at Stab Comedy Theater. So make sure to check them out on their webpage, on their Facebook page. And Spotify has all of these episodes. How many episodes are there of Stabs Podcast?
I believe the 218th just went up last night.
Nice. I bought cookies on the 199th episode, so that sounds like how long it's been since I ordered cookies in Midtown. Yeah, it's great times. So you can check them all out on Spotify. I think you should definitely do it. I love the Bible Party one. Me and Robert Berry are eventually going to do one together. I'm a super procrastinator, so he might have to get on me a little bit about that. But thank you, Robert Berry, for not disappointing in any way. If anyone can, in the middle of an apocalypse, push jizz soda on people, this is Robert Berry. That man could do it. So I have all the faith in the world. Thank you so much, Robert, for being on this evening. My dad is currently sending me all the messages about his favorite parts of your act. He loves it. So now we're going to bring what I think might be our very last comedian of the evening. Is that right? Okay, so the very last comedian of this evening is Mr. Luke Soyan. Not only is he a funny guy, he's a neighbor and also really funny. He's just a great guy. I'm so glad he could do this for us. So glad he could be here for us. So please give your undivided attention and like internet clapping to Mr. Luke Soyan.
One more time for your host, Skip. Thank you. We have one audience member here. Allie Bird is here. Keep it going for all the comics you've seen so far. It's okay to clap alone at home. It's not weird. If you got thin walls, your neighbors will be... there's dogs, too. There's dogs here. They're heckling the shit out of me. So this is actually one of the most challenging sets I've ever had. There's fucking... My dog, he's the one making the noise. It's always the one you bring. When you bring your friends and family to a show, your family's the one who gets drunk and yells like your mom is like, I had a vasectomy. Like, you're a girl. You didn't even have one. Like, what are you fucking talking about, Mom? And she's like, I mean the ovary thing. And you're like, no, you didn't. Whatever. Anyways, you guys, the apocalypse is outside. What do we do? Look, there's a dead guy in the street. I'm just kidding. There's not. But what if that was the thing? That'd be hilarious. Anyways, I had a request for Star Wars jokes. Here we go. The prequels. Everybody loves them. One of my favorite scenes in the prequels is Chancellor Valorum in the Senate in The Phantom Menace. He's addressing the Senate and Padme Amidala's, Queen Amidala's request. Oh, my God. I'm going to pick up this dog in a second. Nacho, come here. Come here. Ah. All right, here's my dog, everyone. He's trying to bite my hand. Stop it. Chancellor Valorum, he is a guy, and so he says this line. It's the best line in all of the movies ever, including The Mandalorian. Fuck you. He says, will you defer a motion to allow a commission to be sent to explore the validity of your accusations? Which is a great line because it combines two of my favorite things, Star Wars and C-SPAN. And that's pretty sick, you guys. If you look closely when you watch a special edition on your DVD, there's a secret button you push. This is not real. You can activate like a little ticker across the screen. For the whole film, it just has news events. It'll be like, Jedi Master Sifo Dyas has disappeared. He's bought a clone army. And you're like, what does that mean? And then you find out in Attack of the Clones that no one knows what that means still. So, speaking of Attack of the Clones, one of my favorite films, right after the Phantom Menace, there's a really great, I'm going to put Nacho down here. He's going to heckle me some more. It has a really great love scene, a lot of love scenes. There's no sex, but there's just scenes of love between two individuals. Padme Amidala and Anakin Skywalker. Now my phone is going off. Who is that? Oh, that's great. So this is just still... I'm actually re-recording this. You don't get a reset normally, but today... Thank you, COVID-19. Anyways, so there's a great love triangle going on between two people. It doesn't make any sense. They have lots of great chemistry. No, they don't. And so he's watching her on her home world because women can't be left alone. right, George Lucas? And so she knows how to talk to people. He doesn't. So she, it's very awkward. No one's talking. It's clearly such good chemistry. And so she goes, we used to come here every summer for summer retreat. They're at like this beautiful lake house on a lake, and there's sand and beach, and it's great. And she's like, we would lay out on the sand and absorb the sun, and it was nice. She didn't say absorb. That's weird. And he doesn't know how to talk to girls or anyone, really. Like, definitely not anyone, but for sure not girls. And so he's just like, I don't like sand because it's rough and it's coarse, and he has a stroke, and it gets everywhere. And like when I was like younger, I was a kid or whatever, I was like, what, that guy doesn't know how to talk to girls, what an idiot. But then I realized like he does know how to talk to girls, because he's trying to relate to her directly. He wants her to know that he also does not like it when sand gets in his vagina. So it's a really great scene of how to talk to women. If you don't know, that scene is for you. I have 30 seconds left. I was going to do other jokes. I think I'm out of time. I'm going to do one more and just go over a little bit. Jesse, feel free to cut me. It's fine. So the virus is out there. I wrote some jokes. Everyone did. And you know what? I didn't post mine on Facebook because I'm better than that. I'm waiting to do this for stand-up. And so here's my coronavirus joke. Corona the beer. No one said anything about that. They have to change their name. Like, can you imagine a year from now when all this has died down, it's not a big deal anymore, some like millennial kid goes into a bar, orders a Guinness, his favorite beer, takes a sip, turns his head, and he just sees somebody drinking a Corona, and then he just has a flashback to his grandpa in the hospital. Grandpa Phil? And he's like dying, and then he cries into his Guinness. Nobody wants that. This joke isn't done yet. And then let's see, what else was there about coronavirus? I also don't like, I remembered you guys, don't worry. I don't like how a young upstart will come onto the scene and outshine the old stars. And that's exactly what coronavirus is doing to the all-stars of the virus world. The flu is the fucking Michael Jordan of viruses. Do you think coronavirus, as a LeBron James is coming in, Michael Jordan's out there, he's like, dude, I put up the numbers every year. I still have killed more people than you. And coronavirus is like, I don't give a shit. And the flu is like, dude, I come out with new sneakers, new structural DNA every fucking year, dog. I get my numbers. You can't fight the numbers. And then in the back, meanwhile, AIDS is like, what are you, attacking people with compromised immune systems? I eat immune systems for breakfast, bitch. Like, that's AIDS, you know? So now I've gone 6.5 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm Luke Soin, you guys, coming to you live from Allie Berta's house. Thank you. Give it up for your host, Skip Bacon. Thank you. See you later.
That's Luke Soin. You're all clapping for me now. If you were clapping for him, it transitioned smoothly into clapping for me. I love Luke Soin's jokes. I was laughing so hard. That's why we have to mute the mic. It's not muted now, right? No, it's not muted now, but we have to mute the mic because I laugh inappropriately loud at every pun. That Star Wars sand thing gets me every time, but I think it's honestly because it upsets Luke. It upsets Luke so much. And if you've ever seen him tell Star Wars jokes in person, his impressions of, well, mostly Anakin, but like anyone in the Star Wars universe are so spot on. It's just an impressive. I can't get enough of that skill. I think it's a skill set. I don't know how marketable it is. I mean, it entertains the hell out of me. Thank you, Luke Soin. Please give Luke Soin money on Venmo for his funnies. I put the list down. It's up again. You'll get it. Love it when Luke, Luke, I hope you bring us some more jokes next week, because I cannot get to see Nacho. I just enjoy everything. I even think it's funny how Luke holds the mic. I am just genuinely entertained by Luke Soin. So I really hope he brings some more back. Star Wars, preferably. I can listen to that just all night. Soothe me right to sleep. I love it. So thank you, Luke. Quick recap of the night. Some feedback from people on YouTube and my dad. More fetishes that they wish they could talk about. Things that women do that they would like that are just now fetishes. Apparently, rodeo clown is at the top of the list. plumber, coal miner, got the black lung pop, ballerina, and steamboat captain made it to the top of tonight's list. Super weird. My dad asked if I wanted his list. I don't. He called them daddy fetishes. So I don't want those. I'm not going to read those out loud. Thanks, Dad. Super supportive of my life in general. Also, thank you so much for supporting comedy here at Stab Comedy Theater. We're going to run everybody's names and their social media information so you can follow them if you don't have any dollars to throw them for jokes. If you have dollars to throw for jokes, do that. If you just like to make sure we're still here to serve you White Claws when this is all over, send some money to the Stab Comedy Theater. Check them out on Spotify. Want to listen to their podcast. A new one coming up tomorrow, and also this weekend, there's other shows coming up. Most notably, I don't know if it's most notably, I think it's hilarious, the Fill My Heart podcast with Parker Newman and Drew. They're very, 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 very funny, so hopefully we'll have some of their sets. And I hope you come back. We'll have another open mic on Sunday also, and I'll be back the following Thursday. You don't have to send me any more of your day-to-day things that women do that are also fetishes. That list can stop now. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Anything else, Mr. Jesse? He really is right there.
No. I think we're good. Yeah, we like you mentioned, got stabbed. I'm vamping now because I forgot to do a thing.
You're whatting?
I'm vamping.
What is vamping? Is it like voguing?
I'm killing time.
Are we
I'm
killing time?
stretching because I forgot to put up the goodbye.
Can they still see us?
No, yeah, still see you. Yeah, so this weekend, like tomorrow night, like you said, Stab Comedy podcast.
Yep.
And then I'm sorry, I'm trying to
He's
do so
killing
many
time.
things.
If you guys could also send me some videos, if you
Yes,
want.
please.
If you were on tonight's show, Luke, Tina, Robert, you know what, everybody. If you guys could all just send more videos, that'd be stellar. I'd love to see what Tina San Lucas looks like in quarantine, because I feel like it's better. I feel like you only get better the worse the situation gets. I've only seen you in good situations, and you just look like you just walked off a runway. So I can only imagine in quarantine, it's just like a survivalist glow. That's what I'm assuming. I haven't seen you, Miss San Lucas, since this whole thing started, but I can only assume you've got like a survivalist kind of like apocalypse glow about you. Like to know what your apocalypse outfit is. Apparently Luke's is what is it, like an Adidas tracksuit? That's the real one, right? Yeah, the Adidas tracksuit. So if you guys want to send in some videos next week of what your survivalist apocalypse outfits look like, I'd love to see them. Mine's a crop top with bell bottoms. I'm killing it. What about you, Jesse? You're still doing this?
Yeah,
Still want me to talk into this camera?
Oh no, you're good. I'm just doing so many things. I only dress up when I'm on camera. So I'm doing all right.
Just wearing boxers right now.
Yeah.
That's okay. I put on pants every week. I'll put on pants and a bra for you guys. It's the only reason I change my underwear. You can't smell me, but I feel like you'd be able to see the funk a little bit. So I do that just for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Oh, are we going to play more games this week? Jackbox?
Well, last night was the Inside the Box show.
That was last night, okay.
I thought about playing tonight, but I'm tired.
Very tired.
And John still hasn't written Stab, apparently. He just said in the chat that he has not written prompts yet because somehow he's forgotten. Well, I mean, he already forgot how calendars work many times in the past. But
Pre-apocalypse.
Yeah, but this show's on a Thursday, so that's the day. What are you going to do?
I'm going to jump out of that conversation. And
tomorrow night on Stab, we've got a couple fun folks. It's going to be me and John. And Willie Travis and Benton Harshaw are going to be the guests on the panel tomorrow.
Benton is so funny. I'll see if Benton has a set he wants to do for
you should
open
get on
mic
Benton too.
Benton's hilarious. Okay, is that it then?
That should be it.
That's all we have. You guys made it through another social distancing open mic. Stay apart, stay safe. See you next week.